Mahalo to the following sponsors: Haiku Helen, psychic extraordinaire and internet promoter, haikuhelen.com, and The Salon in Paia, where beauty meets the beach, hairstyling, and much more. Welcome to Life on Maui. My name is Steven Freid. Welcome back to part 2 of the interview with Dr. Jacob Liberman. We're going to pick up where we left off last time. And but first, before I do that, there's some very interesting upbringing that you had. You were born in Cuba.
Right.
And your family moved to Miami when you were very small, and you came to America just speaking Spanish and Yiddish.
Right.
So before we pick up where we left off, speak a little to that.
My parents came separately to Havana, Cuba in the 20s, escaping communism and things like that. They were born in Russia. My sister and I were born in Havana, Cuba, in the late 40s. I came to Miami in 1955 as a 7-year-old child, not speaking any English. And so that was the beginning of my journey here. I think what I mentioned to you last time is my name was Jacob from birth, but because Jacob in Spanish was Jacobo, and the teachers couldn't pronounce the word Jacobo, you know, the kids were making fun of me. So I asked my father to please give me an American nickname. I had a cousin in Israel who had a similar name as I, and they called him Jack. Jack was sort of too big for a 7-year-old, so they called me Jackie, and I was Jackie till I got to 9th grade, and then I was Jack. And then eventually I understood something about the meaning of my name.
Yeah.
And re-embraced my name. And if you'd like, I can share a little bit about that.
Yeah, a little bit, and then I want to get on to where we left off.
Yeah. In the late 70s, I went through a very traumatic separation and divorce that led to a real disintegration intrapsychically for many, many years.
Yeah.
You know, anxiety attacks and all kinds of things that I went through.
For many years.
Yeah, for many years, as a matter of fact. And during that period of time, I was still called Jack. And in the mid-'80s, I went to a presentation of a Jungian psychiatrist who was talking about the biblical prophets and how they dealt with depression in difficult periods. And he said these prophets lived in an area now called Israel. And he said what's significant about that is that Israel, the word Israel, means he who wrestles with God. And as soon as he said that, like tears came to my eyes, because I realized I'd just gone through this huge wrestling match with life that I didn't think I was going to make it from day to day. And so then he starts talking about one of the prophets, Jacob. Well, as I mentioned to you, my name is Jacob Israel Liberman. Liberman means man of love. Now he tells me Jacob means he who wrestles with God, and Jacob, of course, was the one who wrestled with God. And all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, this name didn't come to me by accident. It really has a lot to do with the biblical character and the experience I had with my own internal journey had some similarities. And then I spoke to my father about it, who said that my grandpa's name was Jacob Israel Liberman, and as you know, in the Jewish religion, a child is named after a grandparent who's died. So he was named after a Jacob Israel Liberman, who was named after a Jacob Israel Liberman. So all of a sudden, I felt a connection. Whether the connection exists with the biblical character or not is not important, but I felt a lineage, a connection with people in my tribe, in my own life, that I sort of felt may have had a similar journey. And so it gave a significance to me. There wasn't an accident even about the name that I received, and so that there was an embracing of that. And so that was my early years, and I think where we left off last time.
Yes, exactly.
We wanted to talk about this.
Perfect.
this whole idea about seeing. And
yes.
so here I'm rearing my children, trying to get them to pick up, but they don't pick up. And so I said, you know, I can use this as an experiment for myself. Anything that enters my awareness is looking for me. What does that mean? It's my responsibility. It's looking for me, and something in me is going to naturally respond to it entering my awareness. Now, what that does is it creates presence. So you've entered my awareness by asking something. You've grabbed me. I didn't even have to look at you or move towards you. Whatever it was that came from you grabbed me. Sort of like falling in love. When it happens, there's nothing you can do about it. It just grabs you. And when it doesn't happen, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Gornish Telfin.
Yeah, yeah.
So something grabs you and your whole system realigns, and that's called presence or attention. When that's happening, it guides you. And what does it guide you? It guides you to a certain level of completion. So I awaken in the morning, and as I walk out of the room, something enters my awareness. The bed is not made. So I know that that's the next thing calling to me. I don't have to think about what to do. Life is guiding me. It's just given me the next piece of my agenda, the next piece of curriculum. So as soon as I see it, I see that it's unmade. So I pull up the covers, I straighten it up, I straighten the pillows. And how do I know it's complete? Because nothing about it grabs me any longer. Have you ever watched the way an artist works? An artist paints on the canvas, and then they step back. They look. What are they looking at? Nothing. They're just waiting to see if anything in the painting is not quite right. You see, the way vision works is anything in the flow of life that is not in the flow grabs your attention. Anything that isn't fitting in grabs your attention. And so
anything that isn't fitting in
isn't in the flow of life. So the artist looks at the painting, and if there's a place in the painting that needs a little bit more something, it grabs their attention. They just go up to it and they work on it, and then they step back again. How do they know the painting is finished? When everything in the painting is flowing. Nothing sticks out like a sore thumb. So here I'm to go back to the bed.
Yeah.
I make the bed. How do I know that's complete? Because nothing on the bed will grab my attention. However, if there's a wrinkle over there, it'll grab my attention.
Uh-huh.
And so I fix that wrinkle. And when it's finished, I just wait. And then the next thing grabs my attention. Maybe it's that I want to have my coffee, whatever it is. And when I finish, what grabs my attention is the dishes are dirty. So I just tend to that. How do I know it's finished? I rinse it, it's clear. I put it away. What I'm saying is that part of the intelligence of life is that not only does it breathe us, it's constantly dropping into our awareness the next piece of life that's calling to us, the next step of life that is our curriculum. And when it does that, if one is really sensitive to that, they cannot resist. It just takes them there, like falling in love, except they're in love with whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
You could call it presence, whatever, but it happens without any work. You see, we talk about being present, doing something to be. No, 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 the presence happens by itself. When something enters the awareness of the infant doesn't even have to move their eyes or their head. Their whole system is just moved towards that which is calling them. So presence occurs without any effort. Just like the planets revolve around the sun, our whole life is designed to flow with minimal effort. That's why they say the body works under the law of parsimony. Least amount of effort to get things to move. So when things enter our awareness, life is looking for us.
Life is looking for us.
Yes, we don't have to look for life. It will always guide us to the next piece. Of course, most of the time, something enters our awareness and the person says, I had a thought. Look what I discovered. But where was it before I became aware of it?